Hello everyone, my name's Kaz and today I'm going to be talking through all of the books I would like to read in the month of November. I have a very ambitious TBR. There are 2 readathons I would like to participate in. I've also got a book club read and there's also an additional 5 books for a secret video which I don't think is going to happen this month, but fingers crossed for December if I don't get to finish all of them. First up, we have The Starless C by Erin Morgenstern. So this is the November book of the month for the book club that I co-host called The Name of the Book. If you're interested in joining us, we do a live show at the very end of the month. I'll have our social media links in the description below. But we're going to be reading The Starless C. So this is from the author of The Night Circus, and to be honest, that was all that it took to hook me in. I have no idea what this is about. Ooh! A story about books. I'm a fan of that. So we have a main character, Zachary, and he stumbles across a really interesting book hidden at his university library. It contains tales of lovelorn prisoners, lost cities, nameless acolytes, but also something impossible, a recollection from his own childhood. There's more things going on. There's a labyrinth, subterranean labyrinth, ooh, filled with stories. Oh my gosh, very, very excited to get to this one. And fingers crossed I read it in time for my book club meeting. Another book that I'm currently in the middle of, I'm listening to the audiobook for this, so we'll continue to listen to this outside of all of the readathons, is Becoming by Michelle Obama. I'm pretty far through this at the moment and I just realized there are photos in here, so I'm gonna have to take a minute to look at all those photos before I continue on. But really, really enjoying it so far. It is really, really wonderfully written, and there was a moment in the car yesterday where there were tears of joy. It's just a really wholesome little story that Michelle was telling about one of her daughter's birthdays, and it was wonderful. Really enjoying this. We'll finish it. Okay, the next set of books that I'm going to be talking about are the ones that I'm reading for the Tome Topple Readathon. So the Tome Topple Readathon is all about reading big books, and for the purpose of the readathon, it's books that are over 500 pages long. And I have a feeling quite a few of these are much more than that. First up, The Poppy War by R.F. Kong. I've been meaning to read this ever since it first came out and I started hearing rave reviews about it. I do know that there's quite some intense content in here, but I think I'm in a good mental space for all of that. I'm not usually too affected by it, so we shall see. This one sounds like it's going to be a very interesting one. It's a military fantasy and I think it's loosely based on the Second Sino-Japanese War. I've been hearing so many great things from so many people, so really excited to get to this. I'll also be reading Middle Game by Seanan McGuire. I don't even know how to explain this, just reading the synopsis, but it sounds really interesting. So we have Dodger and Roger, who are twins. So Roger, I believe, is very skilled with words and language. Dodger is obsessed with numbers. They don't know it, but they're not quite human, but it also says they're not quite godlike either. And they were created by, what's his name? Reed. I don't know why he created them. What's going on? Sounds really good. Also been hearing fantastic things about this one, so very excited. A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. This is another one that I don't really know too much about, but I want to go in this one not knowing much about the synopsis. All I really know is about these 4 college graduates who moved to New York and about their friendships and their lives and things like that. But I've heard that it's an extraordinary novel and it's really hard-hitting and quite emotional. Like, I'll probably end up crying in this one. I don't mind that. I love books that make me cry. Next up, A Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin. So this is the second book in the Song of Ice and Fire series, and I think that I'm going to read this during the second week of the Tome Topple Readathon so I can fit it in with buzzwordathon as well, because on the back it says A Song of Ice and Fire Book 2. So the buzzword for this round is numbers. I could technically kind of fit that into this. So I think in terms of like timing the readathons, since the Tome Topple overlaps with the buzzwordathon, this is going to end up being read during the second week. Also, if any of you have listened to the audiobooks for these, would you recommend the audiobooks? I've physically read the first, I've watched all of the TV show, and I'm just like, this is, how long is this one? It's like 1,000 pages long. And that's really, really, really daunting to me. So, would appreciate any suggestions on physical versus audio for the Song of Ice and Fire series. I can't believe I'm going to be getting around to this. I never thought I was going to continue reading the series, but I think it's happening. As I mentioned, I am participating in the buzzwordathon. I'm very excited about it, and I have quite a few books on my TBR. There are a few graphic novels and a couple of poetry collections to really help move things along speed-wise and finish a few things because, oh my god, these are a lot of big books. But firstly, I have Court of Fives by Kate Elliott. I think this was one of the options for a book of the month for my book club a few months ago. Occasionally the hosts will choose a book that we're all really excited about. Other times we will have a particular theme and choose 4 books and then put up a Twitter poll. I believe that this was one of the options for one of the polls, but I couldn't tell you what the theme was. I just know that I was really intrigued by it. I decided to pick it up because it sounded really interesting at the time and I've now forgotten. Okay, so the Fives is a multi-level athletic competition offering a chance of glory to the kingdom's best contenders. So we have Jessamy, who is sneaking off to train for this competition, and then she ends up making an unlikely friendship between a couple of other competitors, which kind of causes heads to turn. So there's patrons, who are the upper class, and the commoners. So Jess meets someone called Kaliakos, and I think they're a patron, so of the upper class. Cal's scheming uncle tears Jess's family apart. So, very excited to read this. Let's see what it's like. I also have Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, and I found this edition at a book fair, one of the Lifeline book fairs that happens around Sydney, and I've never seen this cover before, and I was really intrigued by it. I'd also heard pretty good things about this book, and I think this is one of Lala's favorite books. She really enjoyed it. I think this is a kind of apocalyptic story. There's a deadly virus, and I think this is set 20 years after the first cases of the virus pop up. We're following Kirsten. She is an actress in the Travelling Symphony. This is about 300 and something pages, so thankfully not as long as some of the other books I've got this month, but I really like to get to this. I also have a couple of poetry collections. We have The Witch Doesn't Burn in this one, and How dare you? The Witch Doesn't Burn in this one, and The Princess Saves Herself in this one by Amanda Lovelace, obviously 1 and 1. I haven't really dipped into poetry like ever. One of my friends has read and really loved both of these, and she's recommended them quite heavily, so I decided to pick both of them up. Let's see how I go with them. And lastly, I have Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Search, Parts 1, 2, and 3. And I'm very excited for this. So this is the next kind of story arc in the Avatar: The Last Airbender comics. If you're not aware, Avatar: The Last Airbender is my favorite TV show of all time. I'm obsessed. I rewatch it as frequently as I can, and for some reason I wasn't really aware that these existed until recently, so I've been slowly picking all of them up. I'm really excited to get to this one because I think we finally learn about what happens to Zuko's mother in this story. Obviously with the numbers coming in part 1, 2, 3, and that's it. Those are the books, all of the books, that I'm hoping to read in the month of November. Lies! I completely forgot to mention one book. So this is one that I started quite a while ago, and I didn't stop because I wasn't enjoying it. I am really enjoying it, but I had to put it down to read other books, and then I just forgot and haven't had the chance to come back to it. And it does have a couple of numbers in the title, so I'm going to be trying to finish this during buzzwordathon, and I think I can do it. I don't have that many pages left, so fingers crossed it all goes well. But that is Deviate by J. Kristoff, and the I and the E have been replaced with numbers, so there's a 13 in here as well. Like I said, I've got not a lot to go, but I really need to finish this. I can't believe it's taken me this long. Good lord. But that's all that I have for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you very soon in a new one, but until then I'll talk to you in the comments. Bye!